Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Redeem Position. I'm your host, Ty, and this will be the last episode that I get to host. Then there's Kyle, and then Devin gets to host the finale episode. Like we said, we would go into 9 episodes and then just kind of see where we're at, whether we'll continue onwards with another season, or if we'll just leave it there. I think we'll have okay, so maybe make the goal like I don't know 1,000 subscribers or something like that. Something small, but not like I mean it's big, but not impossible big. So if
Yeah.
we can hit that, then we might continue, and then we'll see what happens. But I am joined by my co-hosts, Kyle and Devin. Kyle, how are you doing?
Chipped a tooth. But other than that, not bad.
You were. How'd you do that?
I don't even really know. I was just eating a candy bar and then a piece of my tooth fell out. So that's fun.
And did you bite it with your front teeth?
I mean, well, yeah.
Oh, yeah, don't do that.
That's how you're supposed to eat. You bite things off with your front teeth and you move it to the back and chew.
Well, I don't, because I had smashed my teeth on sidewalk when I was like 10, I think. So and the thing is, like, obviously, they took the entire root canals out, so that I would no longer have any feeling whatsoever in my front teeth. But then there was just a small little gap, like right on the corners of like where my front teeth meet. That's where it broke. So there was kind of a gap there. And so after they pulled the root canals out and everything, they put like, it's not veneers or anything like that. It was a temporary thing. But the point is, like, I had to be careful with that, because if I bit down with my front teeth, they would just break right off. Like, they were meant to be strong, but yeah, if I bit with my front teeth, those bad boys would just break right off, and it wouldn't hurt, but it would just be like, oh, there it goes. My teeth are once again chipped. And sometimes, like, it wouldn't even happen from just eating or something. Like, I don't know, they would sometimes just pop right off. And
kind of like a wear and tear, sort of like.
Yeah, they were never meant to be permanent at that point. Like, now, the ones that I do have, I think these are, I don't think these are technically veneers either, but they're like, I think they're like a new age, similar to veneers or whatever. But it's a similar type of like coating stuff, but this time they've like made it longer, because the thing is, like, when I broke my teeth, I was like 10, so the rest of my teeth were still growing normally, and my front teeth were not. So, and it didn't look, it wasn't like super obvious, but the thing is, your front teeth are always supposed to be like a little, just a tiny bit longer than the rest of my teeth. And mine were like, my front teeth for the longest time were like almost equal to the rest of my teeth, and they're not supposed to look like that. But now these are like permanent, and I haven't had these break, thank God, because I'm pretty sure this would be probably a very, very expensive visit for them to fix these. But yeah. So now, like for the longest time, I've always bit from the side of my teeth.
Huh.
Um, but anyways,
Don't
oh, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, didn't you have like a problem like where you would grind your teeth in your sleep or something?
Oh yes, yes. That's another
I
thing.
still have that problem
Yeah,
myself. I just
I think I still do. It hasn't affected me as much. But yeah, I think that was something that happened a lot more back then. It doesn't happen as much now, but yeah, that would have been another reason why they would. I mean, they wouldn't break while I was sleeping or anything, but like
that would be
obviously,
horrible.
yeah. But obviously, that constant grinding would obviously like wear it down. So eventually, like the smallest thing would then cause it to break whenever. So yeah, little things like that. Oh, bless you. And we're leaving Devin hanging. Hi, Devin. How are you doing?
It's nice for you guys to actually notice me.
Hey, Devin. How you doing, bud?
So, I just got confirmation that I can move into my new house whenever. They left today. Um, so I'm hoping to be in to my new place by Wednesday. Hopefully it's not any later, and I really hope that it's not on a weekend because I don't know how much we have to move because I do have a storage unit that I need to go through and see what all is a necessity and what can stay for a minute.
Mm.
But I should be good
Okay.
because I can. They already have Wi-Fi over there, and I can just pack my monitor and PlayStation up, which is what I've been using for these for like the last 2 or 3 episodes. Uh,
Nice.
and I can still do them at least.
Cool.
But other than that, like
Unfortunately,
I haven't been up to anything.
nice. Unfortunately, so I had ordered my CPU, and it came in, and well, I guess while waiting for my CPU to come in, my PC has gotten worse.
Oh Lord.
Oh,
So now, I think the issue is, I think honestly it's a multitude of things,
do you
because
think it's worth fixing?
maybe I'm not sure yet. I'm thinking about maybe saving up some money and maybe getting it fixed or just buying the parts. But I think maybe because the problem is, what I'm guessing the issue is the power supply,
Mm.
because um, I had plugged it in, booted it up and everything, and it would start running and then just randomly cut off completely. And then it
Hmm.
would start back up again and then cut off again. And I'm like, that's not supposed to happen.
Yeah.
um, and then also, so even when it was booting up, usually it shows the thing on your monitor, uh, that it's like loading up and everything. Well, it didn't. It showed nothing. So I'm also assuming now. Obviously, it could just simply be because like maybe uh, it just wouldn't boot up all the way, so I'm not seeing anything. Um, but I am also wondering if there's something wrong with my graphics card as well, because that's also like um, has issues with like the display connection and stuff like that. So that might also have gone bad at some point, but I can't be for certain. So there, and that's kind of like one of the reasons why getting it repaired is like uh, an option because it's like I kind of want to know what exactly the problem is instead of trying to get the parts and then find out, oh, that's not what I needed. It wasn't that after all. Whoopsies.
Yeah.
Um, but
On
also,
one hand, with that, you could go through and you could like do that process, and as long as you don't fuck up any of the parts, because if you do that, you're just gonna figure it out by process of elimination,
yeah, that's very fair.
and eventually, like if it just ends up you have the most horrible fucking luck ever, practically build a whole new PC to your liking.
Yeah, that's true. And I have gone to like Best Buy and they have like their selection has greatly increased now to where it's like if you wanted to build your own computer, they have literally all the stuff that you need right there.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
that's where my friend went to build his recently.
like they've got the case, they've got the motherboard, they've got the graphics card, RAMs, they've got power supply, you know, all the things that you need to build your PC, and it is going to be like a little bit cheaper than buying a pre-built PC. So it's like that is an option. Um,
Along with that, like when you build your own, you know what like given like if you buy a pre-built, you already know what all is like a shortcoming on it. But you like when you build your own, you can decide what that is, and like like, oh, I don't need a whole hell of a lot of space, so you don't have to drop a fuck ton of money on a big SSD. You can get like a 1 terabyte SSD or whatever,
yeah,
and then you can slowly upgrade it to your liking a little bit more to where like you start playing more games or something, or have to hold more. You do something that you need more storage for. Like okay, yeah, I shorted that. I know in advance that you're eventually going to need to upgrade that.
right, yeah. But so that's something, and honestly, I've also thought about like as a temporary thing that I could do. I've seen a they've got like these miniature gaming PCs, which are nothing too fancy. They're like maybe uh like $150, I think, for these tiny little towers that are used for like it's basically a portable desktop basically.
Ooh.
And I've seen these and it's like obviously I'm not expecting anything fancy from these, but it's like let me see if I can like find one of these like on Amazon. I think I could probably find one um mini PC. Let me also specify gaming. Okay, so they got some that are a little bit more pricey. But the point is that they have these mini PCs that, I mean, they're like, you can hold them in the palm of your hand, basically. Really customize it, but the point is like, it's a temporary fix, and it's like, if I ever gotta go on the road or something, uh, and like even if I do get like an actual desktop at some point, I still got this to where it's like I've got a pretty decent PC that I can just carry around everywhere and just make sure that I've got like a little. I could get like a portable monitor for it as well, but that's an option. So I could get one of those. And maybe then I could run some slightly better games at that point. But the topic for today, I remember like we were talking last time about like nostalgia and stuff like that. Um, but I had another topic which was technology, and so I thought, why not kind of blend the two together? and kind of talk about like certain mind-blowing technological advancements that have happened throughout our lifetime, or certain things that we remember growing up with, uh, that maybe some nowadays will never experience or don't remember. Um, so like, and this can range from either like video games or consoles, like DVD players and stuff like that, phones,
Shit.
and just all sorts of different technological advancements that may have just been completely mind blowing. It doesn't have to necessarily be something that you necessarily experienced, but it was something that was mind blowing. Could also be something that was like, um, think about like things that might have been impossible when we were kids that now later on have been created and is becoming a reality and stuff like that.
Okay.
Okay.
And this is nothing that necessarily like I'm not exactly sure how I want to do this, because I suppose it's not necessarily a 1000% take turn sort of thing. But I guess if I were to mention one, let's talk about one fact that the smartphones. This was something that uh, is actually it's actually kind of crazy, because it's like when we were kids, and I mean like I think the first iPhone, like the first smartphones came out in like 2007, I think. And before that, it was mostly just like flip phones and stuff like that. Uh, and the idea of like having a phone that you could like just tap with your with just on the screen and everything just seemed so like impossible. And then for it to happen, like we're still kids at that time, but for it to actually happen, and uh it actually being like in our lifetime and everything, was such an amazing thing to me as a kid. Like, because obviously, you're always used to just hitting buttons and stuff, and that's it. But I even remember like uh, smartphones had been out for a bit, but I think like a year later, I didn't get a smartphone. I got this little track phone. It wasn't even a flip phone. It was like just a small little brick of a phone that was all like pixelated and stuff. I think you could play like Brick Breaker and Snake on it. And then not too long after, it was like because this was still during the time where you had to buy like actual minutes for your phone too. Um, and then not too long after that, I got a flip phone. That didn't last me super long either. Um, because for whatever reason, um, that one I mean, it was durable for a while. And it lasted me for about maybe a year, I think, before I accidentally dropped it down the stairs and it went white screen on me. Um,
Oh.
Oh no.
and then finally, I got my first smartphone. I can't remember. I think it was an LG or something like that. Um, but yeah, I always thought it was just so. Yeesh, hello. I always thought it was so interesting that we were living in a time where we were able to just touch the screen to be able to do things on our phones and stuff.
Yeah. I still have my first flip phone.
Yeah.
I didn't get a flip phone. I got what I don't know what you guys refer to it as, but I got a slide phone. So it had the flip phone layout like as a base default with, you know, you had to hit that number 3 to 4 times to get certain letters.
Yeah, yeah.
But then you could turn that bitch sideways and slide that screen up, and there it was, a whole ass keyboard with tiny ass keys that your thumb would go and hit one key, but it's like, no, you hit every key in existence, delete it all, try again.
I
My sister
remember.
had a phone like that.
I think my dad had one of those at one point too. It was, man, it's
Like,
so crazy.
I felt so bad though, because like I'm sitting there, and my mom's like, "I got you your first phone," and I'm like, "Oh, sick." For real? And like, I think it was. I don't even think I made it 6 months, and I was like, "Mom, can I please just get a normal flip phone? Like this thing makes me wanna do horrible things."
Yeesh.
Like, cause I'd be sitting in class and I'd pull it out, try to send a text real quick, you know, "Hey mom, I'm gonna stay over for basketball practice," or you know, whatnot bullshit that us tiny little brain kiddos we're gonna say. And it's like I'd hit hey, and the next thing I know, the entire keyboard is on the screen, and I have to delete it all and restart.
Yeah, jeez. Oh my god.
The big one that I remember in that sense, like with the phones and all that, is the fact that, like, you know, we're going through school, you know, math for instance, okay? They wanted us to show all of our work and all that. And their reasoning behind it was we're never gonna have like a calculator at our fingertips or like all this knowledge at our fingertips.
Well, about that, you
And
see,
like now we quite literally do.
Yeah. It's
Like
all
it's all right there, just like calculator, Google, fucking whatever.
it's
You
all
don't even
there.
really have to fucking type anything. Like on my phone, I can hold the power button instead of like the power options. It pulls up my version of Siri, and you can just speak.
Yep.
And like, hey, well, like for my job, for instance, okay, I have to know how to convert inches to millimeters. Okay, I don't know about you guys, but I can't fucking do that.
I don't know how to do that.
Well, now they
And
give you
it's go
they
ahead.
they give you like um with a lot with some things now when you're doing a Google search, they make it easier to get like a quick answer with that little like AI overview thing,
Yep,
which is honestly a huge time saver. Now, obviously, it's not always completely accurate, but it's
because it might
like,
give you some off the wall bullshit.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I would say like a good like 98% of the time, that thing is like almost spot on with the information. So if it's like something quick where it's like I need to know the answer right now, it'll usually give it to you like spot on. Now obviously sometimes it's like, I don't know if that's correct. Let me scroll down a little bit and make sure that these other websites are saying the same thing before I trust that.
Another thing was I my first console was a PlayStation 2. Okay, I don't know what your guys's was, but
Probably the same. Well,
my
actually,
PlayStation 2.
very first one was a PlayStation 2 when it dropped, and I remember playing the fuck out of the Fantastic Four on it.
oh,
And then
I
I
do
got
remember that.
introduced to Need for Speed.
I do remember the Fantastic
And
Four game. I do remember
well,
that.
well, I would play through it, and like there's two things that I want to branch off on this. The first one being, uh, right now I'm looking at my system storage. Okay, to these days, you got games like, for instance, WWE 2K24. Okay, a simple wrestling game. I don't know how many characters it has in it. Yeah, it has a lot of modes. 93 gigs. Okay. 93 fucking gigs.
Damn.
Marvel Rivals, 43 gigs. Call of Duty, 396.3 gigs.
Wow.
God.
There's all sorts of shit, okay? I don't know off the top of my head what a PlayStation 2's memory card was, which, like, I get
Eight
Like
probably.
8
megabytes.
megabytes.
Yeah.
8 megabytes.
Dude,
But then
that's
again,
crazy that you guys know that off the top of your...
It's because I still got it. It's
yeah,
literally 8 megabytes on the memory
although you
cards.
weren't downloading the full games back then, you're just saving your data. You didn't
This
have
Exactly,
is
to.
true. Yeah.
but to think that you're downloading, because like for instance Call of Duty, given it's Call of Duty as a whole, so that's 396 gigs throughout probably 3 or 4 games, I would say.
Yeah.
So that is, oh no, that is, wow, that's literally just Black Ops 6, Warzone, zombies, and multiplayer, and probably some other stuff
Hmm.
there. But it's because like we used to have just individual titles, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 1, 2, 3. They were individual games. Like given back then, they were still, they wouldn't fit on a PlayStation 2 memory card. Even PlayStation 3 games, we went from something where you're just saving data to not only are you downloading the full game now, but story-based games such as I don't know, like Elden Ring, shit like that. Okay, you're downloading the full game and you're still saving data. And I don't know if like the 396 gigs and shit like that, like Path of Exile 2's beta is 85. The beta is 85 gigs.
God
Hmm.
damn.
We're still missing 3 fucking acts, if not more.
Yeah.
Good lord.
Like I don't. Is that including our save data? Is that just the game as it stands right now?
Uh,
Is that how much it's gonna be when all of our acts drop?
I don't know. It's crazy because like people have talked about like um how much storage is being taken up by games nowadays, and they're
Uh-huh.
like wondering like if it's gonna get to the point to where games are gonna take like a full terabyte.
I
To
have no doubt about it that that's probably like it. It may not be anytime soon because, like I said, like that Call of Duty, it's I think it's COD HQ is what it's called now, but it's a mashup of every single COD that is available for COD HQ, and I think that dates all the way back to Cold War.
oof, wow.
So that's Cold War. I believe Modern Warfare 1 remastered, Modern Warfare 2 remastered, or well, it's
Hmm.
just Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Vanguard, Black Ops 6. That's just there. That's 7 games for 400 gigs as it stands right now for me, which I don't think I have all of those installed. But like I have no doubt about it that eventually, not anytime soon, I fucking hope, it is going to get to that point to where we're gonna need like 14 gig or 14 terabyte hard drives to hold just to hold games, simple games that we love to play.
Speaking of
It's
COD,
like,
I
go ahead.
actually went back and played both the multiplayer and zombie modes of the first two Black Ops games,
Ooh.
and boy, oh boy, it is so much harder than I
So
remember it being.
exactly, and it's like because me and Kyle have actually had this conversation before. Uh, and I'll admit it right now. Like I tried to run a normal game of Citadel de Moris the other day
Mhm.
with my friend Brandon on Black Ops 6. Okay, and I got so used. You can ask Kyle. Like I've dumped money into that game for gobblegums. Like
Mhm.
I have 30 something of every gobblegum except for the ultras and the legendary ones. And like going through there because I'm saving these ultras and legendaries that I recently grabbed for the next map that drops, so that play it a few times just normally surviving, get to pack, learn the map, learn how everything works, and then I'm gonna swing for the Easter egg again. Because the way Black Ops 6 is doing it, and I love this because like Easter eggs used to be this convoluted story where go around shooting every single brick in a wall and you have a 50% chance for your Easter egg to start. Not literally, but like metaphorically speaking, like you have to really be looking for this shit. And Cold War took it in their own hands to like sort of guide the casual player. And you just have to listen to the dialogue. They more or less tell you what to do, and then stuff will happen on the map. Well, Black Ops 6 took it a bit further to where the Easter egg is in the game when the map drops, but it isn't pointed out. You get a guide to get to Pack-a-Punch, and then it's like you're on your own. Well, they drop after X amount of weeks that map has been out, or months, whatever. They drop directed mode where your round cap is 15 and it walks you through the Easter egg steps. It tells you where to find these items, how to find these items, and where to put these items. And then with your round cap being 15, you're not going into this boss fight as a complete noob at round 30 because it took you 10 rounds to find this one item that you needed to go into it. And like throughout the game, there's round caps. So like, for instance, Liberty Falls. Like that's also something that's changed with the COD games, which we've kind of went from like consoles just into directly games on this subject. That wasn't a thing back then to where like when you open your door and Liberty Falls, your first round cap is round 3 to open one door, by the way. I think by the time you get the pack, your round cap's like 9. But it's just like a lot has evolved with those games. And then we got newer style games. Like for the longest time, I mostly played racing games, and that was it. I didn't get another generation system until the Xbox 360 when the PS4 had dropped, by the way.
Yeah.
So until I got my hands on a PS4, I didn't have that online gaming experience. I didn't start playing shooters until I got a PS4. I got a PS4. Like, I played on the PS3 at my uncle's house a little bit. I played some Black Ops 2. But, like, I didn't actually dive into the shooters on my own time until I got a PS4 where I got Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4, Cold War. Like, that is where I started actually playing stuff. But when you were talking about how the old games are, like, they're so much harder than what we remember them being, I feel we've gotten so used to the being able to spawn in with our loadouts, like, whatever weapon we want, not having to, oh, please, God, the box, please, box, just give me something good. Like,
to be fair, I think another thing about it is also you didn't have some things like the gobblegums in the first two games. I feel like the gobblegums, like, they are very nice. It's a very nice addition. I've ever since like Black Ops 3, I've loved the gobblegums. But I will be honest, they are they kind of hold your hand a little bit when you're playing it. So that's one thing, but also the fact that and I'll say this more for just the original game because the second kind of updated this problem a little bit, and that would be like just like controls in general because number one would be the fact that the sensitivity, because I remember I sat there like, my character's turning kind of slow. I wonder if I should turn that up a little bit. I only turned it up 1. I think my sensitivity was on like 3, so I turned it up to 4. and then all of a sudden he's turning too fast, and I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, so let's go back down. I don't like this, but what in the world? Why is that such a drastic jump? There needs to be a nice little in between right there.
And that's when Black Ops 2 came out with the have a 1.10.
Yeah, it was a much
They
better.
added the decimal into it.
Yeah. But another issue would be like probably the uh, controllers themselves kind of play into this because like I'm playing this on PS3, mind you.
Oh.
So and not that it's necessarily terrible, but it's like I had to kind of get used to playing on the PS3 controller again. And I would say for like most PS3 games, it's not terrible, but playing with certain FPS games, it it's a little difficult because first of all, like there's the analog sticks. They pop out instead of having that little the little like ridges on the outside that kind of keep your thumbs in place. It's the old school analog sticks where it's like it can be very easily for your thumb to kind of go drifting off of the analog stick when you're trying to move around or look around and stuff. Also, another thing I had to kind of get used to again, not a huge deal, but as soon as I get in, I'm immediately like trigger buttons and throw my grenade and immediately blow my ass up. And I'm like, oh
I
shit.
do remember that.
Because like I had forgot that back then it was L1 and R1, not L2 and R2 like it is now. But I was like, okay, that's not a huge deal. I just got to remember it's the top buttons, not the bottom buttons to shoot.
I think in Black Ops 2 there's a setting that swaps that to where
I'm
you
pretty
can go back and forth.
I'm pretty sure they do it in both. But it's just one of those things. It's like I completely forgot about it.
Oh yeah, no, I 100% agree because I would still go back and play Black Ops 2 here and there when Black Ops 3 was out, and like I remember playing a fuck ton of Black Ops 3 and being like, you know what, I want to go and snipe on some Black Ops 2. That shit felt nice. And then I'm tossing my tomahawks, throwing my flashbangs, and I'm like, why the fuck am I not shooting?
Yeah.
Get a perfect lineup.
I also I think another reason I was struggling a little bit is like I've got my PS3 hooked up to I got a new projector. This new projector is awesome. I love it. It has it's got a much clearer picture now, so I can actually read the shit that's displayed now. But the problem is with a lot of projectors, there's usually just that slight little bit of delay. So I think that may have also been why I was getting my ass handed to me on both games a little bit. Again, with the second one, not as much. Like I played both multiplayer and zombies in both games.
Did you play like online multiplayer, or were you playing against bots?
Oh, it was just bots because I'm pretty sure the online mode is gone now completely.
Okay.
Like the servers have been shut down.
I was say I didn't know if the servers for Black Ops 2 got shut down or not.
No, I'm pretty sure they're gone. I could try it again and see if they are actually shut down, but I'm pretty sure they are.
I don't even want to fucking imagine what those lobbies would be like.
Oh, I don't know. Like probably I don't imagine that many people being on there, but it'd be like maybe like one or two guys or something. I don't know, but man,
and if there are a lot on it, I'm almost 100% sure that 90% of them are hackers. I like not even joking. I remember going back and playing Modern Warfare 3 years after it ran its life cycle, and I hopped into a match, and there were people who, I shit you not, were invisible running around with shotguns.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm like, why? Like, why? At least make yourself visible. So I'm like, oh, I see him. Oh, he's cheating. and not that I just sit there and like, oh, I probably got sniped, and then see a man standing in front of me. But I'm like, there was nothing there, dude. Like thinking I'm schizophrenic or some shit.
Yeah, but man, I just it was I either way I really enjoy there's something about the original Black Ops games. Again, they just hit a certain way. I don't know what it is. That's it, they just feel so different than the games that are coming out now. It's like uh not that I think that Black Ops 6 is a bad game necessarily. It's just um Black Ops 6, I think eventually there's going to come a point where uh we're going to put down the game and never touch it again at some point. Like maybe the next Black Ops game will come out if it ever reaches that point. I don't know. And then Black Ops 6 will be forgotten like so many other Black Ops games, like especially uh like Black Ops 4, and I don't even know like well, I did do I do go back and play like Black Ops 3 because like that was like a perfect, in my opinion, like the perfect zombies thing. Like, well, and not so much the base maps, but more so like um the Zombie Chronicles ones, because it's like you get like most of the original zombie maps, and you get it like updated, so updated graphics and updated controls, and you get gobble gums and stuff like that, like all the bells and whistles.
We're way off topic. Just saying.
I was well, okay, fine, fine. We kind of are, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. There's something about the original Black Ops games that will always be like, I feel like going back and playing them again. You know, I do need to. I do want to go back and play the campaign to the original games, because to be honest, I completely forget the plot to those games, and I really need to go back and play them so I can fucking remember what the hell happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. There's something about like Mason's story also, which I think is another reason why like even if like the new campaign games are not bad, but it's like I really don't like the whole like uh, the main character doesn't say anything or have that much influence in the story. Like it's and it's like it's like the silent protagonist sort of thing, and it's like for certain games it works, right? Like Legend of Zelda, that works because it's been done for years. You're the silent protagonist for years, and it works. But I don't know. It's for certain games, it's kind of lazy. So it's like you went from Mason, and then I can't remember who the main character was in the second game. I think that was when they kind of were like shifting between main characters. But afterwards, eventually, you just jump to all these different main characters who are just kind of silent the entire time. And it's like, okay, what the fuck is your story? What's your backstory? What's going on? Like, not much of that.
So in Black Ops 2, you play as David Mason, who is Alex Mason's son.
Okay, that's right. Yeah. And I do remember now. They kind of like went back and forth between Alex and David. I think is what happened. Because it was like you went back in time, and then you went back. You went to like the future. It was like a weird like shifting between the time periods and stuff.
Black Ops 3 doesn't even have a main character. It's just the player. It's
Yeah,
just
the
you.
player character.
Yeah. And like,
That's crazy that me and him both went to Black Ops 3.
yeah,
And then Black Ops 4 didn't even have a
yeah,
campaign.
no, that was, and
They had these specialist missions where you could unlock like unique things for each specialist.
yeah, but it's like Black Ops 4, like I think there's just some games that it's like, okay, I played this for a bit, had a little bit of fun, but I don't care to go back to it ever again. Black Ops 4
Yeah.
is definitely one of those games where it does not, in my opinion, have any qualities that would really pull me in to play it again. But
The thing that I liked about Black Ops 4 was the multiplayer and the zombies. I genuinely liked how fast paced the multiplayer was, and I liked the DLC zombies. Like a few of them. Like I liked the base game's map 9, which is a gladiatory arena or a gladiator arena, and then there was one at the very end, which was Ancient Evil, and it was a I want to say it was Greek mythology map. It had like Medusa and all that in it, and the oracles. But is that Greek?
I think it is. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Oh, another thing. So like, I think the only thing about like the Cold War. So I did like the campaign.
Guys, what does this have to do with the topic?
I'm sorry.
The topic was not Call of Duty.
Long story short, I did kind of like that like open world zombies mode in Cold War just a little bit. It was kind
Oh,
of
for
fun.
sure.
But anyways, so Kyle, you have yet to bring forth a piece of technology from like that interests you in some way.
Um, computers.
Oh
You know,
yeah, that's
I think because computers are interesting because obviously like back in the day, like you had these big bulky ass computers that could barely do anything.
Dude, I remember seeing them in school and being like, I wonder if I can run Minecraft on this.
I remember like we did have the old school gray bulky computers and the big ass monitor and everything, and I just remember like the fucking sound that it would make when you were starting it up sound like
Followed by a jet engine.
yeah, and that was just the normal sound that it made, and you when you look at the screen, it's like all like pixelated and stuff. Um, I do remember them trying to like my parents would like try to start up like the internet and stuff, and I do have some brief recollection of what that the sound that it made. What it
Good
was
old
like.
dial up.
Yeah, it was like
Which is crazy because I was getting ready to bring that up next, is internet, but also like computers in general, like how Kyle said, like you remember back in elementary school, okay, everything was done on paper.
Oh yeah.
And I remember going into middle school and they hand us iPads, and I'm just kind of staring at this like, this is rich people product. I don't want to touch this. I don't got the money to pay for this.
And then we got the Chromebooks in high
And then we
school.
got the Chromebooks.
But also like
And then now Bluffton's on touchscreen Chromebooks, dude.
Jesus Christ.
I do
Like
remember also eventually getting like we got a somewhat upgraded computer at some point in like the early 2000s, like the 90s computers finally stopped working, and we got uh I can't remember what one. I think it was like Windows XP or something, maybe.
Probably.
But I just remember, I think it was XP. I remember the sounds, like so many sounds from the startup and turning it off and everything live forever in my head.
Or the classic, the windows powering up and shutting down.
Yeah.
I miss that sound. I ain't gonna lie. But like, to put this in perspective, okay? How long, without looking it up, how long do you guys think the internet has been around? Because I'm pretty sure dial-up was the first form of it, was it not?
I think
I
so.
think so. Yeah.
Okay, what year would you say that is?
Well, I would say that the first time the internet was like officially introduced, it eventually it would evolve over time, but I think
Mhm.
uh, the internet started in sometime in the early '90s.
You're spot on, actually. 92, okay? But like, when you sit here and think about it, it's like, I'm 25 years old.
Right.
And I was born in 99. And like, that short of a time for us to get to where, like, back then, like, the way my mom talks about it, because I wasn't around for that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it became, so early access was in 92. And then in the late 90s to early 2000s, it rose up. And it was still like slow because back then it was linked to your phone lines,
Yeah.
to where if like other people were using it, it was a you have to wait your turn.
Yeah.
But like, and that's one of those that like we went from having to wait your turn to, in the same house you can have 4 or 5 different devices streaming shows, which takes a lot to stream.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it's fine, it's perfectly fine. Like, yeah, you probably can't download anything during that time frame. I mean, even with my internet, which I can download a 100 gig game in 3 hours if no one is streaming or anything like that, or watching TV, whatever. I can download a hundred gig game in like 3 hours. But like, the fact that we went from having to wait our turns, and then in a little bit over 25 years, like right now, given obviously it was a shorter time frame than that, we're able to sit here and stream on 4 or 5 different devices, all linked to the same Wi-Fi, and have no issues.
Oh my god.
You
I've
can
actually
get
got another one. Uh, because you brought up like streaming and stuff.
Hmm.
Well, I'm gonna take us back to before streaming was a thing. Cable and satellite TV.
oh
Oh
lordy.
my god! You know what? You know what
Yep.
I miss most about that?
Yeah.
My grandma had Dish Network. Okay, I
So
miss
did mine.
well, she had Dish, and then my grandpa was out mowing, and I don't know if you guys know, but like on Zero Turn Riders, the blade actually sticks like a solid inch out from under the deck.
Oh.
So, or at least on his it did, and he was mowing around the dish cable,
Mm-hmm.
and it caught the cable and just, because
Ooh.
theirs wasn't on the roof. They had 2 of them that were in the ground. So then they immediately went to direct TV.
Okay. Yeah.
But I miss getting up at, well, number one, on Saturday nights, staying up till like 5 in the morning watching Cartoon Network, which, after I think it was 8, it turned into Adult Swim. And
Yeah.
on
Mhm.
Saturdays specifically, after 12, it went to Tsunami, which was a anime platform. That is
Yeah.
where that is where I started watching anime, honest to God. And when I say anime, I mean like, I get Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, all that stuff. It's considered anime because, that I guess people consider any sort of animation anime, like the cartoon animation style.
Well, I think
But like,
technically it is because I'm pretty sure those shows did start in Japan.
they did start in Japan, but like, I'm talking like the Naruto stuff like that. Like,
Okay.
that is
Yeah.
where I started. Like, your mainstream stuff. That's where I started. That's where I watched Dragon Ball Z.
Okay. So like,
That's where I watched Naruto. That's where I watched it all.
yeah. Um, it's so interesting. Like one thing I remember from like, and I would say this is probably more with satellite, since the thing is like there's things about both cable and satellite, um, but satellite seemed to have been easier for people living out in the country, like my
Oh yeah, for sure.
grandparents were. But the thing is, with satellite, it, especially back then, was somewhat new of a concept and everything. So it wasn't completely perfect. And I remember if there was even it didn't even have to be like a super bad stormy day. If there was like even the slightest bit of rain, goodbye TV. You just get that message that would be like,
Connection lost.
yeah.
Please wait while we try to reestablish connection.
And it was just such a bummer because it would be like we were watching something, and that's another thing, because it's like, you know, you again, like nowadays you're able to like stream stuff, but it's like back then you watched what was being put on air, and if you lose connection, you're shit out of luck. You missed your show.
Yeah. And people complain about ads on stuff nowadays, but they never had to sit through a bunch of commercials that were unskippable.
Well, the thing is,
Oh shit! Or being able to have an ad blocker. Oh my god.
well, and the thing is, like, I somewhat understand why commercials were somewhat important back then, because obviously you couldn't pause the TV if you had to go to the bathroom or something. So the commercials were somewhat helpful for moments like that, when it's like you don't want to miss your show. So we're gonna put like a few minutes of commercials up, so that you can go and go to the bathroom or grab a snack or whatever you want to do in that time. So it's like, okay, so it's somewhat helpful, but it's like, yeah, like some people will never understand. It's like, oh my god, I feel so old just saying stuff like this. This is just gonna be the episode of you'll never understand what we went through. I can feel the wrinkles forming on me.
Hit him with the back in my day.
Back in my day, we didn't have no streaming service.
I got another one that's kind of in the same vein.
All right.
VHS tapes.
Yes.
Oh my god! Shut your fucking mouth.
I still have
I
a
have
VCR.
Dude, I have snapped so many of those in half because like you'll go to pull it out of the fucking VCR, and the tape that it had in it for VHSs would come out, and you'd have to rewind it, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, no. I shit you not. Anytime that happened, I was just like, no. And I was either throwing it in the trash or I was snapping it in half over my knee.
I remember like there would be times where it was like the tape got like twisted up, and you didn't realize it, but that's a sign that it's fucking done, because try as hard as you want to, that thing is not going to twist back to its normal
Not unless
flat
you take it all the way up and you fucking manually re-roll it.
Yeah.
I hated that shit.
And it's like I would try so hard to do that, and it just would not go back to being flat like it's supposed to. And eventually you just have this fucking mental breakdown of like, no, my movie.
My Lion King. I have to go to the store and get a new one. I have something sort of the same thing. And I know both of you will remember this, and probably most of anyone listening. CDs and CD players.
I still use them.
I don't, but like the fact that it used to be one of those where like you wanted to listen to your favorite band, because I know you have records, don't you, Tyrus?
Oh, I've got everything. I have
He's got
CDs.
cassette tapes.
I have cassette
You've got
tapes.
cassette
I
tapes,
have-
bro. But no, like, I remember genuinely like going to Walmart and thumbing through CDs to see, oh hey, I like that band.
Mhm. Yeah,
And
like
and now like we have Spotify, we have YouTube Music, we have all sorts of shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Apple Music.
I would say like I know that some people are like why would you get CDs or why would you get vinyl? You got all of it on your phone, and yes you do. However, I am a sucker for album art and stuff like that. Like just to be
Ooh.
able to
I
open
can't
it
even
up
blame you.
open it up and just because like obviously there's the cover art and stuff, and you get that, like you can look at it uh on Spotify and stuff, but like to be able to get the entire album and have this whole like booklet and stuff of the entire like album art, plus like so one album that absolutely blew my mind in terms of album art was I've got Tool's 10,000 Days CD, and I got it, and they have, I forget what it's called. It's got like these little lenses on the case, and you open it up and flip through the little booklet and have one side like standing up while having the lenses across from it. You look through the lenses and kind of focus your eyes, and it looks like the picture is like popping out, and you just flip through looking
Ooh,
at
like
all the album art and
like
stuff.
3D.
Yeah. And it was like, oh my god, that is the coolest fucking album art I've ever fucking seen. That is so fucking. Plus, like, it's really cool. I love doing this. I love putting on the album and trying to like flip through some of the album art at the same time, because it's like you kind of almost get like this little like your own little music video of some sort, like or not necessarily a music video per se, but it's like the art fits so well with the music and everything. It just feels so good.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Oh,
it.
yeah.
On the note of like the album cover art and all that good shit, uh, we all know Linkin Park. Okay, so
Mhm.
back, I want to say it was a 20-year anniversary box or a 10-year anniversary box. One of those. They released. They were done because Chester had passed,
Right.
which they are now back.
Hmm.
But Chester had passed, and they had released the Meteora 20th anniversary box. Okay,
Ooh.
I want to say this is like $150. It contained a physical and digital copy of the it's a deluxe edition of Meteora. If
Mhm.
deluxe edition had another deluxe edition above it, like Meteora the deluxe edition.
Right.
Sounds really stupid, but like this album consisted, which it's on Spotify, but it was a box. Like it came with a bunch of stickers, a whole ass poster of the new album cover, which was a lot like the old one, but it was recolored to a deep blue.
Kind of like what they did with Hybrid Theory. Like they have
Yes,
it was like a golden version of the album art.
yeah. So, like, it was like $150, I think, for this, but it was one of those where like this whole album consisted of everything. Like when you go to Spotify, okay, this thing has, I want to say it's like 5 or 6 albums on it, but it consisted of all of Meteora
Hmm.
and then bonus tracks. So hold on, go. Where the fuck is it? 5 discs, okay, five
Damn.
fucking discs,
Holy
okay, and this
shit.
consisted of the original Meteora disc, And then it went into live shows, okay?
Hmm.
And then it went into uh, more live shows. All of these were in Nottingham, so like they went from Texas to Nottingham. This was their tour, I'm assuming. And then it went into disc 4, okay? A.06, I have no idea what that is. There's the demos for it. Songs we haven't heard of, like Sold My Soul to You, Mama, Standing in the Middle. We get more demos, which is Program, Meteora demo, Faint demo. And then we got down to disc 5, which was the Lost demos. Or no, that was disc 5 was a tour, a 2003 tour.
Yeah, that's
And I think this is just a whole set list. And then disc 5 is what is known as the Lost demos, which consisted of Lost, Fighting Myself, stuff like that. And I don't know what it is about this album art, but it's, you know how like the original Meteora had just the dude on the wall spray painting?
right.
This
Yeah.
is the same thing, but it looks like he's in a studio, and it's from the side, and he's looking down doing the same thing. But there was that in it, and I don't remember what all this had included in the box. Like that was something that I was really, really looking into buying.
Mm-hmm.
But like just that album alone on Spotify is 5 hours long. Okay, it's 89 songs,
Holy fucking shit!
but it's like
My
I
God.
this is going off topic a bit, but I enjoy when shit like that happens
Mm-hmm.
because it's like you're seeing the stuff that this was something that we had in the mix and it just didn't quite make the cut.
Yeah, I felt kind of the same way about like now I do wish that Avenged Sevenfold would do more cuz the only thing that they have like re-released was Waking the Fallen. Uh and they released Waking the Fallen Resurrected, which was basically, they had disc 1, which was like the main album, and then disc 2 was like a mix of like a bunch of demos and live versions of the songs, and then disc 3 had some music videos that were and a documentary.
Yeah.
So that you could that was a DVD that came with it, but
Well,
there
was this like a box option, or like you have to pre-order it or order it online or something, or could you just find this in stores
uh,
when it first, like when they first announced it?
you were just able to buy it. You can still buy it now.
Okay.
But there was also like Diamonds in the Rough, which originally uh, Diamonds in the Rough came with live in the LBC. So it was like you got the live performance of live in the LBC, and then Diamonds in the Rough. But back then, uh, like so now they had basically kind of re-released Diamonds in the Rough by itself, but as a vinyl. Um, and this had more songs that a lot of the songs were technically released, but they were like iTunes exclusives back when like
I was
iTunes was a thing.
I was actually about to look into that stuff because like it used to be back when we first started listening to the CDs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that was released was there.
Yeah,
You just had to find it, and then you had EPs and stuff like that
yeah,
where it was like you could only get these online,
yeah.
essentially, like through Spotify or like the equivalent of what our Spotify is.
So a lot of these
And
songs, because back when it was like the LBC and Diamonds in the Rough, it was only some bonus songs, alternate versions, and some covers that were going to, I think they were going to be on their self-titled album, which came out a year before, but they ended up making them like iTunes exclusives and stuff, and then putting them on Diamonds in the Rough. Well, in 2020, they re-released Diamonds in the Rough with not only those songs that were originally on there, but also some songs from Nightmare and Hail to the King that didn't quite make the cut.
Were they like remade, like updated vocals and stuff like that, or were they just the original?
They were just the I mean I think they did like maybe remaster them a little bit, but it was still basically the same songs. But these were all songs that again were like iTunes exclusives. So if you had never listened to them before, now you can on an actual physical copy. Cause I would say like there's one thing I wish that I could get a hold of, and I can't anymore because it was a limited edition. But Black Rain was another thing that they had released a few years ago, and this was 4 songs, all 4 of Avenged Sevenfold songs that had been on the Black Ops games, all on one vinyl, and I never got to get it. It was limited time, and I don't know if they'll ever re-release it again or if that's just it. You can still listen to it like on Spotify and stuff, but man, I wanted that vinyl so bad, and I never got the chance to get it. But yeah. Anyways, we're kind of getting a little bit off topic, but yeah, like I don't know. I like physical copies of stuff because of album art and stuff like that.
Same.
That's the same thing with consoles as well, like games. Because I remember a while back, like Ubisoft released the whole like if we remove a game from our library, like and you bought it online. From what I heard and saw, like you weren't getting a refund. Like you didn't buy the game, you bought a
Yeah.
license to play the game.
Yeah,
And that is why I like having discs. Like that's why, like to me, disc drives are so
Yeah.
important on consoles because, like, who's to say one of these days for some ungodly reason, I don't know why, but like, I'm a big fan of the God of War game. I buy these online, get digital copies, and they for some reason remove it from their library entirely, which then removes it from my purchase list, and I don't get my refund. Like, now who's to say that like when I put this game in, it's not going to register if it's on disc? That is what it is.
Right.
But it's still like there's a chance there that hey, that's our loophole. Like that's what worries me about the way we're going right now because they promote the online purchasing so much anymore these days.
I'm gonna say something else too. They need to bring back the little booklets that used to come with your games.
The manuals and shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They need to fucking bring
Looking
those
back
back.
then, I would have called you a fucking nerd for saying that. But like nowadays, like there are games that give you a here's how you attack, here's how you walk, good luck.
Right.
And you're just like, well, how do I block and how do I use items? And a tutorial never comes up.
Right.
And back in the day, countless of those booklets, I'd open that disc out, that booklet would fall out, boom, first thing going in the trash is that booklet.
And it's like, oh my god,
I ain't even gonna lie.
I love the little booklets, especially when it was like more than just being a manual, because it's like sure you had the manual and stuff. You
Some
had
of them
all
had
your
like art and shit to them.
Yeah, they would have like art. They would have like character descriptions and stuff like that. They would even have some that would like
for side characters.
They would even have like backstory on certain things in the game that weren't necessarily mentioned in the game itself, but you like open up the booklet and it's like here's a backstory of what's happening in this world, and it's like oh cool, awesome. Like I remember like so there was also I think it was Guitar Hero 2. they had a little fake interview with one of the, I think it was Axel Steele or something. They had like a little fake interview in there with him. Uh and he was like answering some questions of what it was really silly, really dumb and everything, but it's like, oh my god, I appreciate that at the same time. Like,
It's one of those, like, back then you're looking at it like, why? Like, I just want to play the game, and like nowadays we're like, I wish we had more interactions like that. Like, you know
yeah,
what I mean?
Yeah.
because it's like it's one of those things where it's like you didn't really see the significance of it back then, but it's like now you definitely do, because it's like it's one of those things that's like I don't know if there's the same love of making games as there used to be, because it seems
Yeah.
like nowadays it's just like, yeah, we got to
They're
get
more
this
worried about
product
getting the
done.
money out.
We got to get this product done so we can make some money. And it's like, motherfuckers, like, just make a fun game and actually show that you care about it. Like, goddamn, because I'm not seeing the love. I'm really
Because
not.
I've talked to Kyle about that stuff before as well, to where like, I'm okay. When a game first drops, I fully expect it to have bugs. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want it to be unplayable.
Yeah.
And lately, that's what I feel like we've been getting, is unplayable games.
I remember
Yeah.
it's so funny because it's like the reason I would open up those manuals and stuff was because, like, obviously I was a kid back then, and we would just get the game, and I would open it up and just read it on the way home. While my mom was driving me back home, I'd just sit there like flipping through the pages, like so excited to play the game. So I'm just gonna sit here and just read the manual for right now.
Yeah.
Bro, you know what's weird though? Okay, like, still on the topic of games, but it's something that I don't see anymore. Actually,
Yeah.
back when you would go to buy like an M-rated game, they asked for ID,
Right. I mean, they still do, and it's like,
but online though, like digital copies. I don't remember,
Oh
like, when I
yeah.
created my PSN account.
mhm.
I don't remember having to put my birth date in.
Oh, well, I mean that is probably something that they had to add because they probably didn't think about it at the time.
Hmm.
Like I remember like I don't think originally they had like parental controls or anything either, or at least not in the same sense. Like nowadays they've got all sorts of stuff now to make sure that, like, if the console is for a kid, that there is some sort of restriction to make sure that, you know, the kids aren't getting a hold of a game that they really should not be playing. But it's so crazy. I I I remember like growing up and getting an M-rated game and just like absolutely begging my mom, please, please, can we get this game? Please, it's not that bad. It's really not. And then,
I do remember those as well. I vividly remember those days.
Oh yeah.
The cashier or whatever would be like, ma'am, this is actually kind of bad. There's a lot of violence and sexual themes and stuff like that. I'm like, God damn it, why are you telling on me?
You stupid wood.
Just tell
Look
her
at
it's
me.
got,
I need this.
please, just tell her there's
Tell her
rainbows
it's
and unicorns.
educational. Or the classic, yeah, like the educational. That is what I used to fucking. Ooh, my Aunt Militia was like really strict on that shit, to where, like, if I was not old enough, dictated by the rating on the game, she would not buy it for me. And how we had an agreement back when I was in like middle school, elementary school, for every A that I got on my report cards, I got a game. And I remember, like, I really wanted the Borderlands games, and I wanted some Medal of Honor back when Medal of Honor was a thing. And she's like, "You're not old enough." And I'm just sitting here like, "Let's go up and ask this here clerk," and just those pleading eyes of, "Help me out, please." Tell her it's educational. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting here, fucking Modern Warfare. I think it was Modern Warfare 2 or 3, but the airport scene where you just unload an LMG into a crowd of people that are just civilians. And I'm like, please, tell her it's education. Please.
Yeah, I remember. So this is actually a very funny story. So and once again, it brings up fucking Soul Reaver. Of course it does.
Oh God, we're gonna be here for 2 more hours.
Don't worry. It's not gonna go into the lore or anything like that. But
Thank God.
but my first time playing Soul Reaver, the reason that I got into it was my dad had actually played it originally. I guess he didn't care for it that much, but he used to he put a lot of his games like in those old like CD pouch things, you know.
Oh shit!
And
I still have a few of those.
I do as well.
What?
Um, so I because eventually there were some games that my dad had just passed down to me because like there were a lot of original PS1 games and a few PS2 games because he had gotten PS2 Slim and he gave me his original PS2. He gave that to me because I think when the PS2 would come out, I was still playing PS1 for a little bit. So I think technically PS1 was my first console, and then eventually PS2 not too long after. But anyways, so I'm flipping through this case of CDs and everything. And my parents, I would say they weren't like super strict about things because I would say eventually I had reached a point to where they were like, okay, we're fine with you playing like rated E and rated T for teen games. T for teen was a somewhat acceptable rating for me to be able to play even at my young age. Like T for teen games were never like super crazy. But I remember seeing Soul Reaver, and I remember just looking at the disc and thinking, like, because it was a really cool character art of Raziel and everything, and thinking, like, it looked really cool. Well, the rating said T for teen. That's what's very interesting. Like, of all the Legacy of Kain games, like, most of the Legacy of Kain games were always rated M. Soul Reaver was originally rated T for teen. But after some people had played it and had some complaints about it being a little bit too violent at some points, a year later it was re-released as a rated M game. But I saw it and I went and I double checked with my dad. I was like, "Can I play this?" And he said, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay, cool." I play it, and I had a lot of fun playing it. Absolutely loved Soul Reaver. But I remember at some point, Christmas time, I think this may have been like maybe a year later. Christmas time, my dad finds out that there is a sequel to Soul Reaver. He gets me Soul Reaver 2. And Soul Reaver 2, they did not make the same mistake when it came to the rating. That was rated M as soon as it came out. And I remember the rule that my parents had taught me, that an M game was a no-no. Well, and obviously I'm still at the age where I still believe in Santa Claus and everything. So Santa Claus has got me this game, and I open it up and I see it. I'm excited, but then I see that little M in the corner, and I just break out into tears like, it's rated M. I can't play it. And my parents were like, "It's okay, you could play it," and they were like trying to like calm me down and everything.
Can I play all the M-rated games now? No.
It's like, no, just this one. And I think it's literally because it's like, even though the Legacy of Kain games are rated M, like they're not like, they don't have like the long list of inappropriate things.
I'm assuming
like
it was like violence and language.
Yeah, it was like,
They're like barely M games.
yeah, it's like animated
Gotcha.
violence and animated blood and gore, and that was it. That there was like,
Gotcha.
there was no language, there was no sexual themes, there was not
Then
even
we have Duke Nukem.
there was not even so much
Grand
as like
Theft Auto.
there wasn't even drugs and alcohol or anything. It was literally just like strong violence and blood and gore, and that's it. So really, when it comes to rated M games, Legacy of Kain is kind of tame. I guess you could say somewhat. I don't know. Well, maybe not necessarily for all of them. Now that I think about it, because like I would say like Blood Omen, even though that's the first one, and it is definitely limited graphically. There were certain spells that you could cast that would just absolutely obliterate your enemies in the most horrific ways. I remember playing, because I had played Soul Reaver and Soul Reaver 2 and then Defiance, and then I had like found out about the Blood Omen games, and I was like, oh, you get to, these are before Soul Reaver and everything. And I was not prepared for what I was about to see. I was a little bit older at the time, but it's like, at that point, I think I was maybe like 14 years old at that point when I found out about the Blood Omen games. But I played the original Blood Omen, and I cast one of the spells that you eventually get. And so, like, there's tools and there's spells that you can use on top of like normal combat. But there's one that was like called the Flay, and it's like these weird little shuriken things. And you know, me not really thinking anything of it. It's like, oh, it's a shuriken. It's just gonna it's gonna hit them and stab them, and it's gonna kill them dead and whatever. It's like, it does that, but worse. Not only does it stab them, but it actually hooks onto their skin, basically, and rips it off. So now they're just a fucking skeleton. A bloody skeleton. Then there was another one that was like the Implode spell, where you cast that, and you see their body like start to grow out and then implode on itself, and you just see a pool of blood on the ground. And then there was just like, I'm pretty sure the energy bolt, a little bolt of lightning, whatever, it's gonna electrocute them. That's it. Nope, that motherfucker will hit normal, like, I think it was just the humans that it did this to, but it would hit them and cause all of their body parts to just explode in different directions. It's like, honestly, I could see this game being remade today in like a modern gameplay style and absolutely loving it. Like, but yeah, I was not prepared. I was not prepared for like Mortal Kombat style gore.
Kyle, do you have anything to continue to add to this?
I mean, I guess kind of with this, I will say that, unlike you guys, I don't think my parents really cared at all, because I was playing GTA San Andreas when I was a kid, so...
Okay, so my parents didn't start caring until I played, like, ironically enough, until I played San Andreas. Because I lived in Ossian when I first started playing San Andreas, okay? And, Ossian is, you know, kind of, at the time, it had a few, I don't know how to say it without sounding racist, but you guys know what I mean, okay? Well, my little 6-year-old self, because or not six, but my young self. I just finished Vice City. I was like, San Andreas, let's go. Started playing it. Walked outside. I'm playing cops and robbers, stuff like that, imaginary friend stuff, and all my mom hears is my young self pop off, get on the ground, inward.
Oh no! Oh
So
no!
I get pulled inside, and she's like, "What did you just say?" So my dumbass, instead of trying to cover it up and make up some dumbass bullshit word, repeats the exact words I just said.
Oh no!
Where did you learn to say this? A game I play. So then I was no longer allowed to play animated games.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll really
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, we were downtown too. Like, that was the worst part. Like, people were active, out and about, walking around, running, walking their dogs, out with their families. And you just got this little kid outside just saying that kind of, like, yeah, no. Looking back, I understand. I
Yeah.
understand that.
Yeah.
Everybody just stops what they're doing and just turns towards you. Like, what did he
What
just
did
say?
you just say?
I think there was one time. It's honestly not. It's not that bad, but it's like I was. I was and still am a big fan of Ninja Turtles, and
Oh, God.
specifically, like I would say like my favorite versions, like so movie wise, my favorite Ninja Turtles movie is the OG '90s Ninja Turtle movie, the one with uh they were like puppeteered costumes and everything.
I do remember that. I do remember being shown that.
And I still absolutely love it for multiple reasons. And I would say like number one, the original movie is like probably the closest to like the comics and stuff. So that's like another reason that I absolutely love it. And then like the 2003 Ninja Turtles cartoon was also my favorite for kind of the same reason. Very close to the comics. I don't know. There's just something about the dark, gritty nature of the Ninja Turtles opposed to like the silly turtles. And it's like not that they can't be silly like at all, but it's like I need that little sprinkle of grittiness to the Ninja Turtles universe. That's what I need. I'm still waiting for them to like either a game or a movie, but like for adults.
I've heard that there's a game coming out called The Last Ronin.
Yes, and there is a comic of The Last Ronin, which is basically all the other turtles are dead except for one. And
it's not who you think it is. I can promise you that much.
I'm pretty sure it's Michelangelo.
It is.
And it's crazy because it's like
so broken. He's so fucking broken.
Because he's the baby. He's the baby.
Yeah.
And
he's the baby. He's the like I go out and have fun guy, and like you get to see the serious side of him.
Yeah. After the loss
the one clip I saw from it was he had Leonardo's sword.
Yeah.
Like he had all the turtle swords like lined up in front of him. And he grabbed Leonardo's fucking katana, which was snapped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And right before it cut, and then they're like, coming soon, eventually, pretty much.
Yeah.
He was about to commit seppuku.
Yeah, I really hope that actually is made into a game because I heard rumors about it and I saw like the little animation and stuff. And I hope it ends up being more than just a rumor. I really hope because I have wanted for such a long time for them to have like Ninja Turtles for adults, where it's like very close to the comics, where the turtles
comics are really fucking dark if you read into them.
They are. I have like the original like volume 1 of the Ninja Turtles comics, and it's just like extremely violent. Like, I mean, they're ninjas, so thus they're basically assassins. Like literally. I mean, that's it's more for in the traditional sense of what a ninja actually is. And you know that you've got certain characters like Casey Jones, for example, who is basically a complete psychopath in the original comics because he finds like the purple dragons and everything, and he's about to basically pummel them to death. Like he's basically a murderous psychopath in the original comics. But anyways, like I was talking about the 90s movie specifically. Well, in that movie, I would say that back then people were a little bit more lax when it came to language and stuff for certain ages. This is a PG rated movie in the early 90s. And I remember Raphael would yell at the top of his lungs, "Damn!" And I remember I remember being like maybe 4 years old or something, watching that movie and repeating those words several times because he would say "damn" several times throughout the movie, and I remember saying it, and my mom got so upset, but I think she realized that it was from Ninja Turtles, so she didn't go too hard on me. But it was just one of those things where it's like, okay, we can't say that word. I could still watch Ninja Turtles, obviously, because it's like it's Ninja Turtles. It's not that bad, and it's like I think it would be completely different if I watched something and I said "fuck." I think that would be an entirely different story. But since it was just
or my
damn,
situation.
yeah, exactly, yeah, yelling racial slurs and stuff, which obviously you didn't know any better, and neither did I. But it's just it's one of those things. It's a teachable moment.
Look, you can still watch Ninja Turtles, but you have to watch the Michael Bay Ninja Turtles. That's all you can watch.
God. I remember watching the Michael Bay, and there were 2 movies. I'm so surprised that there were 2 of those movies. Oh my God, I hated those. The first one, okay, so the first one, yeah, I could stomach.
Which one are the Michael Bay ones? The new ones, like the new ones, where it's live action.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
a hot take. I did enjoy them.
The first
They were fine.
The first one's not terrible. I did not like the design of any of the characters. First of all, the casting was kind of bad. I don't know why the fuck they would pick Megan Fox to play April O'Neil.
Because she's hot as fuck.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the only reason. Because it's like Michael Bay
worked
had
for Transformers, dog.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the only reason that Michael Bay did that was like he had, like he knew he needed to reach the really horny people somehow.
Yeah, and he did.
But also, in the second movie, they had the guy who plays Green Arrow in the Arrow series on CW. I can't remember his name, but they had him play Casey Jones. And it's like they didn't even bother to like give him a wig or anything. They were just like, "Yeah, you show up as yourself."
If they actually, I was gonna say if they actually made him, fit the part, I don't think that would have been a bad call.
But also,
because he can give off that like tough, rugged feel. He does it in the Arrow.
Yeah, but the thing is, like,
I don't even think he hardly wore the hockey mask.
No, he hardly did in that movie. He like barely wore it, and it was like, okay, so that might not be a huge deal most of the time, but it's like Casey Jones. Yes, he has to be tough, but also his character is supposed to be kind of childish at times, and he just was not giving that, and so it was like, oh man, I miss the old Casey Jones. Bring the old Casey Jones back.
Bring the original voice actor back. I want him back.
Bring him back. I remember, this is so random, but I remember I had forgotten about the 87 cartoon Casey Jones. And it's so weird because like his character in that was basically just like, I gotta break something, because like they had to in that cartoon they had to kind of like make it a little bit more PG for kids and everything. So obviously he couldn't say like, I gotta bash some skulls in or something like that. It's like, no, we gotta make it more kid friendly. Have him say that he just wants to break something. He wants to like break a toaster or something like that. I'm gonna lose my mind if I don't break something. It's so silly and corny. I mean, I do still enjoy the classic 87 cartoon, but it is definitely, everything about it, like you can tell, is so 80s coded and everything. It's so corny and everything. Just really silly. I've been rewatching some of the older episodes and stuff, and I'm just sitting here like, what the fuck kind of logic? There was one scene where it was like, Donatello's like, they find like a van that they're gonna turn into like the Turtlemobile, the I think it's called the Turtlemobile. I think that's what it is. I can't remember. But anyways, Donnie's in the process of building it. And so in this process, he grabs one side of the van with bare hands and pulls up and rips the entire like side of the van off. And I'm like, what the fuck kind of superhuman strength? What the fuck? He just pulled that off with his bare hands. He didn't cut it on, he didn't cut it on the sides or anything like that. He fucking peeled it off with his bare hands.
Oh shit.
Oh my god.
Well,
Does anyone have anything else to add?
Damn. Not necessarily. I don't know.
So I think I've got everything that really has like caught my eye with this topic.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean,
I
there's just been a
think
lot
we're
of things.
pushing like 2 hours as well on
Yeah,
this.
it might be time to wind it on down.
All right.
Okay. Well, everybody pray for Devin. I think he's dying.
Bro.
that's what cigarettes will do to you.
I don't even smoke cigarettes anymore, dog. I haven't smoked
maybe
cigarettes
we're-
in like a year.
That's a lie.
Not a year, but yeah. It's like, I want to say it's been 3 months.
He hasn't smoked since last year.
Okay.
True. True.
It was 2024.
I remember it like it was yesterday. It was literally 3 weeks ago, dog.
Okay, but all right. We hope you guys have enjoyed listening. This is my last time hosting. Next time it's going to be Kyle. It'll be his final episode hosting. We'll see what he has in store for us. And it has been really fun doing this podcast. Again, if you guys really, really, really want us to continue making stuff, you got to prove it. Show us how much you love the podcast. Show your devotion. Give us 1,000 subscribers.
1,000 might
Not
be a
asking,
bit
this is a threat.
ridiculous.
I'm going to put my Cash App on there. Send us money. Give us the money now.
Oh shit.
All right, but seriously, we hope you guys have seriously enjoyed this experience. We've enjoyed doing this. It's been a lot of fun, and we hope you enjoyed it. So press that like button, leave some comments for any other suggestions in the next 2 episodes that we will have, and we hope to see you in the next episode. This has been Ty, and I've got Kyle and Devin here. Say bye, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
And redeem position out.